Tech Icon Spotlight Silicon Valley chapter, where technology's finest leaders take the spotlight. I'm Sheetal Acharya, and today on the spotlight we have KD Singh, who is a Senior Vice President at EXL Services and comes with extensive experience in building billion-dollar businesses at the intersection of cloud, data, and AI. He's also an entrepreneur at heart, driving growth and success. Hi KD, welcome to the show, and it's truly a pleasure to have you today.
Thank you, Sheetal. Equally happy to be here.
And really looking forward for a conversation and learning more from your journey. KD, you really have had an incredible journey. You have been into your own ventures. You are at senior leadership positions, leading teams globally. When you take a pause, when you look back at your journey, what do you feel like? You feel contented, or you still have have something big still to achieve, or there is something that I could have differently?
So that's a very insightful question. I would say that there have been times when I've thought that, is it really fun what I'm doing? And that's when a pivot appears. So it's like taking a step jump into what may be the new thing to do. Luckily, being part of tech has always offered that opportunity. So when I was early in my career in India, the bug bit me that I need to be selling services and do that at a global scale. So took on an opportunity, moved to the US, and it was fantastic, to just come into this country in the absolute late part of 90s when Y2K was a wave. So I rode that era where, we started by showing people the map of India and how we could get work done for clients in the US, and how we are able to do English communication quite seamlessly with them, and then get very, very deep technical core work done from teams sitting the other side of the globe. And fast forward to now, when we are in the era of AI, where it's less about how many people are doing the work, it is how we are applying technology to drive productivity. Through these cycles, I've had the pleasure of working in large companies, growing businesses, building them and then growing them to large numbers, and then also have had an experience of building 2 startups. I'm lucky in a way that I built 2 startups and learned a lot from them. Of course, I didn't earn from them, so that's why I'm back in a corporate environment. But I love what I do, and so it's never been for me that, oh, am I content? No, I always want to do more because there's so much stimulus, so it gives us an opportunity. At the same time, in my roles, I've always worked with customers. So the stimulus comes from technology and how we can apply that technology to do better for our customers, whoever they may be.
Well, that's wonderfully explained. Thanks for sharing that insight with us. Now you mentioned from 90s where companies were not much into outsourcing to India. So you have seen that era. Now, what according to you, along all these years, has been the biggest transformation that you have seen?
I think the one big change is from an era where it was about, the analogy I give is the sheep and wool analogy. You put more sheep, you get more wool. But, in the modern times, it's shifted to outcome. I want to wear a pullover and feel warm because it's very cold outside. So I want my quality of wool and the warmth. The warmth is the outcome. Quality of wool is determining that outcome. So we've actually moved from an era of just people-based businesses, right? Everybody in services at that time would say, I have this talent, I have so many people, and I have so many centers, I can ramp up in so many days. And now customers talk about, how do you apply that technology to solve my problem? That will satisfy me that you can do it. But what will you do for me? Will my balance sheet get out on time? Will my customer experience, my net promoter score and customer experience increase over a period of time? Outcomes are what matter now. So that's definitely a big shift. I think the constant that we all find every time, whether the markets are good or economies like they are right now, not at their very best, cost is always an important factor. The only thing that shifts in a rising economy is discretionary spend allows us to do more kind of work. So their customers will challenge us for higher level of innovative solutions that can either give them growth in their new markets, open new markets, and then or launch services that are more profitable. So these are things that happen based on the economic trends.
No, I mean, thanks for explaining that, and I love the analogy that you used to explain. Now, talking about the current trends, what are the current technologies? Like everyone is talking about AI, generative AI, now agentic AI. So, what is it that excites you most about, or when you look at the transformations in upcoming years? What are those aspects that you look at from the technology standpoint?
Yeah, one learning I've had through interactions with clients is the agentic AI wave is not just the technologists coming together to create cool models that are good at solving problems, but what has shifted is focus has shifted from just the techie sitting in one isolated room and imagining that, oh, we will disrupt this industry. That may happen, will continue to happen. But if we look at existing businesses where agentic AI is finding its most possible moment of glory, it's the knowledge of workflow. So we are in an era where people who are doing workflow, who are actually working through the different levels of a process, that may be in finance and accounting, that may be in supply chain, it may be in customer experience. So when they are working across those levels, the 1 to 4 levels of the workflow, and then they see how technology can help them either condense the number of steps in the workflow or reduce the number of software systems and applications they're using to finish that whole task. And they all say that, okay, I was doing this on my own. Now if an AI agent is working with me, can I do 10x more in half the time? So, it's all about radical improvement in productivity. The one statistic that, we talk about is that, if you just do manual labor on any of these operation focused tasks, you will get, let's say that baseline is 1 or that baseline is 100, sorry. So if at 100, if you're putting 100 hours to do that work, if you threw an automation, that reduces to about 40.
Absolutely.
Reduces by 40. So you have 60 hours now that are going into doing that same work. With agentic AI, I'd say AI agents, agentic AI, smartly put in, you're looking at reducing that 60 hours down to 30. So that's 70% productivity improvement, which can come through. But it will come through as a common output from the workflow knowledge holder, that worker, and the technologists who are working together in order to create this. Wherever we have these groups isolated, I don't think it's going to be the same outcome. So, that's, in summary where I see the puck moving.
You talked about efficiency, productivity using like these new tools, AI, Gen AI, agentic AI. So what are the common challenges when you go and talk to your customers? What is the kind of reluctance that you see while you explain to them about the that what kind of efficiency or benefit they are going to get?
I think there are two big ones that come in. The two big ones are, and they are both related to a level of change management. The first big one is availability of the data, the right set of data which will allow the models to operate efficiently. You have the right fidelity so that the model is behaving just the way a human would, because now you're substituting a human effort with an AI agent that's going to run that same task. So it has to be trained on the right data. So first is data. The second is security. And in security, we can encompass a whole lot of things. Privacy, depending on the kind of work we do. You know, data minimization as is another catchphrase you may have heard, that you know, just only use the data that is relevant. And then role-based access controls that humans have, the same access control needs to be with an AI agent. You know, if a human is working at a job and tomorrow they are not working in that job for whatever reason, so their access is revoked, so the same should be applicable to agents as well. So these are the security aspects that get infused. So those two are the biggest ones, and clear, and you know, fundamentally they are underpinned by the umbrella under the I'd say not just the umbrella under which they both sit would be change management. You know, and that becomes a task that a company has to embrace in their journey. You know, that's been our experience, at least talking to customers who are early adopters and innovators who want to go do stuff. Yeah.
That's a very insightful answer. Now, we talked about data minimization. So, you know, related to that, quality is coming into my mind. Like, how much is it related that, you know, when we talk about data, what are the challenges to actually get the quality data? Because there are like millions of data right now around, but how do you manage the quality out of it? Is that a challenge?
It is, and that is where I see an opportunity for firms that are in the whole data and AI space. So if they have, you know, clients know what is good data. It's always the issue of it sitting in various silos.
Right.
So to bring it all together and you know, set up the right data management environment that allows them to build upon for different scenarios and use cases, these AI agents is an important so-called foundational effort. But you know, a lot of customers will get caught in, I want to set up my entire data estate perfectly. But we are in the midst of Silicon Valley, startup land. What do we do here? We all do small things to prove a point, refine it, and then we scale it. Because our fundamental belief is if we've been intelligent in capturing what we need to accomplish, the problem we want to solve, and then we get to how we solve it. But we solve it incrementally till we hit the point of efficiency. And at that point, it is just rollout. So I think, you know, instead of getting caught in that I need to get the perfect data, you start with what you have as the starting point in order to test the hypothesis and show here is a benefit. This thing works.
Yeah.
You know, if a light bulb can work to light up a small closet and it's a unique kind of technology, tomorrow we make a bigger one, it'll light up a room also, and then a warehouse. And that is exactly the iterative approach that we recommend. So while yes, you need the data real estate to be in very good standing, but it shouldn't be the holding back factor. You know, for a particular use case, identify the right set of data sets that are required. You know, we talk about training data, that can be real data, sometimes synthetic data. All technologies exist. So I think fundamentally it should be the desire to prove a point with use cases. The effort needs to be in identifying the right use case. After that, bringing in partnerships with firms, with platform providers, doing it is not really the most challenging task. I think the most challenging is to take that decision.
Absolutely, and that's a great answer. So, KD, you talked about startups like this. The Silicon Valley is the hub for all the startups and VCs. So, you know, you also had your own ventures. So, could you please talk a little bit about it? Like, what was your learning when you started your own business, and what was it the kind of learning lessons that you had?
Now, that is a very reflective question you asked me. I would think there are, you know, going back to my whole principle of twos here, two lessons. You know, the working in a startup is all pace driven. There is, you know, if you're stalled, then you're not a good startup. So pace is important. So first lesson was pace.
Pace.
Second was focus. In a startup, we focus on a problem and we work very hard to solve it. When we figure that it's solved or solvable, we keep moving. The moment we say, not working, this is not going to work, pivot. Which goes back to what I was saying, even in the whole applying AI and, setting up the data realistic. Yes, you want to do that, but start iterating very quickly. Iterate, solve, pivot, move forward. So the startup teaches you, at least for me, those are the two lessons I took from a startup. And my most recent startup was a consumer startup. And I came from an enterprise background. I'd never done anything close to consumer except working for customers who served consumers. So for me, that was tremendous learning. How do you work for a consumer business? I had never done product management in my life, but my product manager had some personal scenarios that basically restricted him from working. So I had to pick up the baton from him to learn product management. But again, it came just from those two principles, right? Gotta have pace, gotta have focus. So the focus was to get the MVP out. So, and we have to move quickly. Okay, nobody else to do it, then I have to learn and do it. That's the startup world.
So KD, if you have to give one piece of advice to aspiring tech leaders, what that advice would be from you?
I don't know whether I'd classify it as advice. I'd say if I was to think of my learnings and just say that, these are my learnings, please listen to learnings from others like me and then form your own set of principles on which you want to do. So those learnings would be that, the first off, we never know enough. There's always more to learn that will help us form a better outcome for whatever we are doing. So I use this example in a lot of my conversations with co-workers and even clients, that there's a plan A or plan B. Plan A came from person A, plan B came from person B. When plan B and plan A, those two people, they're sitting together and working on something, it shouldn't be an argument that plan A and plan B. What comes out of collaboration is a plan C, which is an amalgam, the best output of these two converge together, and then debate. So I think the more we are willing to first have the ability to put the effort to create whatever we are doing, so that, I'll go back to my learnings, focus and pace. So focus, learn and put your best. After you put your best, put it to test with somebody else, which is the plan B provider. And through that test, if the other partner that you're collaborating with on this kind of a conversation or journey is equally committed, the two of you will come out with something that's even better. And after that, if it works, great. If it doesn't, go back to the drawing board. So this whole, learn, iterate, and, keep doing till you feel satisfied is perhaps the journey for any tech person. That's why we see new technology come out every day. That's why, NVIDIA will launch a new GPU. It does very well in the market, and then 3 weeks later, you find them making an announcement. Oh, here's another one that's even better. That, that's humanity. And think about agentic AI. I think it was October, November when people were talking about, we will put AI into business workflows. And then come December, people say, oh yeah, AI agents are coming. In February, agentic AI was a reality. All of this in a matter of no time.
Right.
Yes, the catalyst was the generative AI wave that came from ChatGPT's launch with large language models, but see where we are. So long answer, but we learn from a lot of people, and there's always stimulus. One thing I would add is we should stay on top of reading. I'd say long form reading and or listening to podcasts, reading books, and of course short form also, some blogs and write-ups that come from good publishers. Nowadays most of them happen to be individuals. Those are also very helpful to build a good understanding, especially if you want to form your own opinion. So
Right.
that's another recommendation,
No, no,
I'd say.
absolutely. And those are all like wonderful takeaways. And you have been very humble in answering to that question. So thank you so much for sharing your perspective, your insights. Now, Katie, I'm just, like to, shift the gears a little bit, and would like to know more about your personal life. Like, what are your hobbies and interests? Like you mentioned about reading books, podcasts. So, in your free time, what you prefer to do?
When I have free time and it is daytime outside and I'm in California, I like to go on bicycle rides. I'm an avid road cyclist, so the
Oh,
proverbial mammal, middle-aged man in lycra that you see. So I do that. For me, that is my way of building, physical endurance and just getting into a meditative state. If I'm climbing a tough hill, it helps me solve some of my professional problems, my personal problems, because I can reflect, I can think, and I'm not distracted. It's just me, my bicycle, the hill I'm climbing, which is all mechanical,
yeah.
but my brain then gets the free time and it gets the dopamine to think through and really come back refreshed. Yes, I solved the problem, and then the energy is great. So that's something I do during my free time. And listen to audiobooks. I wish I could read physical books, but that time just doesn't allow. So I, when I'm traveling and or when I'm cycling, I listen to audiobooks. Music is another passion in our house. Music plays 24. I know 24 is an exaggeration, but all awake hours there's music playing in different rooms of the house.
Do you like to sing as well?
Oh no, that is one art form I never learned. I did as a youngster. I used to paint and draw also, mostly with pencil. And nothing fancy there. I'm hoping that I will try and get back to it one day.
So, Katie, you also talked about travel when you travel. So, how is it like? Do you go out with your family? I know, like, I'm sure with work-wise, you would be traveling a lot, but do you travel most often? Do you like to visit to different places with your family?
Yes, like most people in our generation, we all like to learn about new cultures, experience them, enjoy the food out there. That's the Punjabi in me, foodie, by genetics. So we travel. The whole family likes to travel, and we also encourage each other to just go on independent trips. My wife will go on a trip with her friends, and I will go on trips with my friends. The kids have done the same to experience new cultures.
Yeah.
But we try and do it in a fashion that is more deliberate. That don't go check the box on 20 cities in 20 days. I think thanks to my wife, we figured that it's better to go to a place and experience it as best as you can before you go to another city. So if we have 5 days in Italy, we'd rather spend all 5 and be in Rome than go to Venice one day and Florence one day.
No
so
rush.
On so forth. No rush through it. Enjoy it. Savor the moment.
Absolutely. So, Katie, let's go back again to your childhood days, right? Off camera, we were talking about your name, like what I should call you. It's KD, or there is any full form, right? So, what's the story behind that? If you could, share it with our audiences.
It's funny you ask that, because I get asked this question every time I meet someone new, which is at least once a week. We were at a family wedding, and I was the youngest male child there, probably a teenager or barely so, and basically I was the errand boy. My cousin was getting married, and all tasks were coming to me, and one of them turned around and said, "It takes so long to say, Kamardeep, go get this. I'm going to call you KD." It stuck. It stuck. So this is not an American name. You go talk to my wife and say, if you ask her, is Kamardeep here, she's going to look through you. My kids will know who you're talking about. So,
wow.
Yeah, so it's been KD since then.
Interesting story.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you that, whenever my father, who's in India, whenever he wants to make a point to me and he is talking to me, he might switch to Kamar. So that's the only, for me, that's a reaction I have.
Okay, that's great to know. So how was growing up in India? Like you grew up in Delhi?
Yes,
So-
I grew up in Delhi.
So some of the fond memories, if you could like to share with us.
Oh, so many. I have to say that to me, places are about the people, not about the structures. So all memories are with people. I have so many friends from Delhi that I stay in touch with whenever I'm there. I'll try to make a point of either having them come over to meet or we all hang out together. But Delhi, as much as people talk about the pollution, to me, I grew up there, so I cut it a lot of slack. I love other cities also in India, so it's not that I'm biased against any city, because all cultures bring their own richness to it. But Delhi's food scene, and now Delhi is so different. That said, it's hard to navigate through the Delhi landmarks now because of all the constructions that happened there. But yeah, to me, Delhi has all the fond memories. It gave me the foundation from my education and the cultural, the secular culture of Delhi, which has formed me as an individual. And now I sit in a totally different environment. So it gave me that adaptability, I think, right from the beginning.
Right, and Kiri, it's really great to know that you are still rooted to your country. So that's really great. Now, Kiri, we are almost nearing end of our wonderful conversation, and at the end we have a segment called as rapid fire round. So everything out of syllabus, though like everything we talked was also out of syllabus probably.
Sure, yes.
So let's start. Are you ready?
Bring it on.
Like the spirit. Okay, so your first question: mountains or beaches for a vacation?
Beaches.
Okay, no wonder like you're in Bay Area. Podcasts or books for learning?
Podcasts.
Okay.
Actually, let me change that. Podcasts and books. There should be
Mix.
A and B. Yes, both.
Blend of both.
Blend of both.
Okay, that's a good answer. Mentor or self-taught? Which shaped you more?
Mentors.
Okay. Favorite part of leading a team?
Accountability that is collective.
That's an insightful answer. Biggest driver of growth in your experience?
Ambition.
Okay, nice. Biggest inspiration outside work?
Has to be some of the mentors that I've looked up to.
Favorite tool or method to stay ahead in business?
Debate.
Okay, that's kind of
Debate with our own teams. So again, coming to collaboration, that goes to one of the questions you had, that what is the best part of leading teams, and second, even with customers, we all reach a stage where every customer is not right every time. We got to do right by the customer, for the customer. At that point of time, it's just debatable with the customer as well. It's fully acceptable to them too, to come out with a better outcome for them. So yeah, I feel debate and collaboration together are two ingredients that lead to better results.
yeah, that's a great answer, and you really did well in rapid fire. And thank you so much for sharing all the great insights. And we really wish you continued success in your upcoming ventures.
I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you too.
Thank you.